Right team Warrior fans and surrounding areas. It's Wednesday and it's time to talk Tuloso Midway Warriors football. And on the screen, I have the AD head football coach there for the Warriors, Coach James Beazell. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Coach. Thank you for coming on, spending some time. We don't have a lot for you. I do have some, but not a lot. Usually I have more. My list is usually longer. It's a little shorter. But we'll jump right into it. Obviously, tough game on Friday. The results were not what we wanted, as the Warriors take the loss to the Wildcats in a 35-14 final. So that'll drop us to 5-3 overall, 1-1 in district play. And so we'll move on to the next one. But before we do that, I do want to get Coach's thoughts on the Calallen game, Coach. I do want to some stats that kind of came out to me when I was kind of looking at all of this, and we were able to throw the ball over 100 yards, about 115 yards, which I thought was good. We continue to be able to throw the ball and getting over that 100 mark. I know is something that we continue to work at. So I thought that was good for us to be able to break that, because that's not our bread and butter. But they did hold us to under 100 yards, and I think that's what kind of doomed us in. And then they were able to rush for 227 yards on our defense. And so I think those were the critical things. I know there was more to it than that. So I'd like to get your thoughts if you want to jump on the offensive defensive side. Just your thoughts on the overall performance of our team against Calallen.
Yeah, I think the opening drive, we came out, and the first drive we had, I thought we did a really good job of mixing up, our run game. We kind of pounded the ball down. We're pretty physical with them, and we punched the ball in, tied the game up 7-7, and they came out too. And Coach Reeve does a great job with his offensive scheme. Familiar with him when he was at East, kind of from coaches that I've known and played against him, and they do a good job of mixing up formations and kind of finding the weaknesses in your defense. And we had a bunch of missed tackles on defense, and that just comes from them being physical. I think, overall, they were more physical than we were, and we knew it was going to be a physical game, and we know as a program and as a football team and a staff, we got to get tougher when we're playing those types of teams, and so, I think they did a good job against stopping our running game with Damian and the quarterback. We hit him a couple times with some passes, and we scored. Figueroa had a touchdown pass with a running back out of the backfield he caught, and Ricky had a little nice catch too, on the sideline, and we were able to throw the ball a little bit, but we just really couldn't consistently get our running game going. And I attribute that to they have a really good defense. I think their linebacker play is some of the best linebacker play I've seen in the area. Jude and 12 are pretty good players, man. They fly around. They're on almost every tackle. So you just got to tip your hat to them. And as a program, we got to continue to get better. And then at the end of the day, just continue to get better as a team. It's not about them and playing Calallen again. It's about us. We still have a goal of winning a playoff game. We're in the playoffs now with beating Hidalgo. We got Far Valley View. We got to go down and take care of business. Now we're kind of playing for seeding. We really want to get that 2 seed to see kind of how we match up with that other district, because that other district is pretty loaded. So we want to get the highest seed that we can and play their lowest seed that we can. And that's kind of our goal of going forward. And, it's a test to our kids to see about their character, about how we're going to respond. And I think we've responded really well at practice. These kids understand what we got to get better at. When we watch film, I think they see, the issues that we're having is it wasn't like they just physically abuse us. It's technique, it's small things. Defensively, it's always, that's high school football. Unless you just get out there and you're absolutely out athleted, but it's mostly bad technique. And our defensive ends didn't play well. Our linebacker play wasn't really well. We missed a bunch of just unblocked tackles that you cannot miss as linebackers. You can't miss tackles. In big varsity football games, you can't. You're not going to win games that way. So our kids understand that, and I think they've responded. This week, and hopefully we can bounce back with a big road win with Valley View.
So the practice, you would say boys just kind of washed up. I know the teams. I know I talked to some of the players, and I know they wanted this game, and we didn't get it. So, you kind of talked to them, and then Monday we started a new week. So the practice has been going really good then for us.
Yeah, no, I think there was still a lot of fight, and I think, I hear people like, you don't want moral victories. No coach wants a moral victory, but I am proud of how hard we played the entire game. We were down big at half. I felt like we tried to climb back in it. We had some miscues in the half. At the end of the half, we need to run the clock out. They make us punt one last time with, under a minute left, and special teams, the third phase kind of hurt us. It helped us this game, but it also hurt us big. And they take a punt back to the house to make it 28-7. You can't win football games that way. I think our kids have not been used to being in games like this where small things matter. Every decision that you make, it's magnified when you play good people because they make you pay. You can't make bad coaching decisions. You can't make bad, technique decisions. You can't. When you play good people, it's magnified, and they're gonna hurt you wherever you're bad at. They're gonna find the weakness, and that's what good teams do. So we're starting to learn that, and so we come back and we end up scoring first the second half, and then we had a little onside kick that we've been practicing. We found something they do different than kickoff return where we're able to do a little, we call it a pop kick, and it's a little sky kick that goes 10 yards, and our guy got on it, and we had a bunch of momentum going after that. And then, we try to take a shot and we throw an interception, and it happens, and I think that kind of depleted us after that. And, I think that was kind of our demise, and that's where we got to grow, as a team like that. We kept playing hard, and that's what I'm proud of. There was no quit. I think they only scored one time in the second half. So, we can grow from this as a program. We can grow from it as a team, as a coaching staff, and for our underclassmen for coming years, and then ultimately, to win these next two district games and get to the playoffs, and then we got our chance to win. We can still make it. This team, I told them, you still have a chance to make history, to be the first team to win a playoff game. And that's ultimately the big goal that we need to get that big signature win. That's what we lack as a program. We don't have that big signature win. We beat people that we are expected to beat. We got to beat somebody that's better than us. And then that's where I think we'll start to grow as a program.
So we watched this Calallen game. It's over with. Obviously, we now move over to Valley View, where the Warriors will take another trip to the Valley. I did talk to Alex Xavier. By the way, Coach, thank you for having him on the podcast. It was a lot of fun talking to him and Coach, our offensive line coach, Mateo Gonzalez. Really enjoyed talking to them, getting more insight on what we're doing offensively. And they definitely enjoyed. We did talk a little bit about the first trip to the Valley, and they definitely love the Kingsville food. So I know the players are loving that. So if you don't change anything, Coach, they're gonna love going back there to eat
Yeah.
again. And they love the charter buses, obviously. So hopefully nothing will change. But we'll get Coach's thoughts on Valley View here in a bit. But Coach, I want to talk about the other levels of football. I think that's important. Let's talk about the JV playing Calallen. How did things go there?
Yeah, JV went down and played Calallen. We lost 16-0. Was a tough game. We were in it most of the game. It's just, like I've told you, we've kind of depleted that JV, bringing kids up to varsity that we've kind of needed for depth and special teams. So they're kind of struggling with skill players. And then I thought they played tough, and it was a good game for most of the game. It was close, so I'm proud of those kids for how they continue to fight. They got two more games. We'll be playing Valley View here at home at 5:30 tomorrow. So I'm excited for our kids to get back out there and compete. And those guys are our future. They're a lot of those guys will be playing on Friday nights. They might not know it now, but they're going to get in the off season, and they're going to grow and get bigger and stronger and faster. And they're going to be playing on Friday night. So them getting all these reps is vital for them.
Absolutely, Coach. And so definitely love and talking. And as I said, this podcast, as we continue to grow the podcast, and we're going to bring more coaches, more players on, obviously, we're going to build a team out there and continue to shine some more light, not just on our varsities, but on the other lower levels as well. Bringing some of them coaches. We can't get those coaches on every week like we can coach the varsity coaches, but maybe I'm looking at probably twice a month, bringing them in and giving them an opportunity to talk about their program as well. So we still got some things that we're working on here to better our podcast here for the Tuloso Midway Warriors. And basketball season is coming as well. So I'm already starting to work on asking the coaches. I'll be on the break next week, but after that, hopefully I can get our boys and girls varsity basketball coach to come on, jump on the podcast like Coach Chapa and
Yeah.
Coach Viriel, and talk basketball as well and recognize some of our talents there in basketball. So I'd like for all the Warrior and Cherokee fans to like and share this podcast. When you see it, we are working on getting a network there for the Tuloso Midway Warriors, where it can be established as a for you guys, so people can follow, and we can post up a lot of other stuff. So I'll talk to Coach Viriel about that. So hopefully we can get that up and going here really soon. But definitely like and share the podcast to your timeline. We had over 1,000 views last week here on the Coach V podcast, which is really a goal of mine, and we want to consistently get there. We don't want it one time, consistently share it and hit the 1,000 mark every time coach comes on. So that's great. Coach, let's talk about the upcoming game here against Valley View, a team that is struggling. Obviously, if you watch them, look at their record and kind of see some of their stats. So it is a team that has struggled this year, but you and I have talked about still got to go up there and play tough. You can't take them for granted. You never know. They can, slip up. You can slip and they can catch a game on if you're not careful. But talk to us a little bit. It's another long drive out there for you guys. Talk about the keys and what you want to see from your team Friday in the Valley.
Yeah, so Friday we're off school. So it's gonna be a different day, for us. We're off school, we're about to go into intercession, and if you've ever been in a year-round situation, when kids go on intercession, they're different, man. They're squirrely. And so hopefully we won't have to worry about that. I think we're pretty mature now as a team. I think that first trip was a success going down to Hidalgo. We're actually going to Hidalgo again, so the game will be at Hidalgo Stadium. Far Valley View's turf is not complete. They put in some new turf and it hasn't been finished, so they're borrowing Hidalgo Stadium for the night. So we'll be there. So it's pretty much going to be the same itinerary like that we went, and so we'll take off around by 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, sorry, and head out to Kingsville. We'll sit down and eat and have a nice meal for the kids, so they're fed, and then head up over to Hidalgo again. And it's a 7 o'clock start. Kind of everybody's all over the place with these start times, man. So some people are 7. It really depends on the home team. The home team really gets a pick now, and people started changing it this year, and I think it's kind of trending to games being at 7 from now on. I really think so. It'll be a 7 o'clock start over there in Hidalgo against Valley View. So
Definitely go out to Trip. But if not, they do have the Warrior Nation Live that you can definitely tune in. I think the guys are going to be out there. I'm not sure, but Coach, do you know if they're going to be out there streaming the game?
yes, they will be. They've let me know. We'll have the game streamed on the Warrior Nation Live on YouTube and Facebook. You can find the link, and we usually post it from our football Facebook page as well.
So definitely, if you can't make it out there, support the Warriors through the live stream. Guys do a great job. Everybody that streams puts a lot of time, and they drive all the way out there to stream it for you. So the least we can do is support the Warriors by watching the live stream if you don't make the drive out there. So it's another important game. And then after that, it'll be the last game of the regular season, and that'll be Zapata coming into town to take on our Warriors here at Warriors Stadium. So that's down next Friday. This Friday, we're going down to the Valley. Coach, I want to ask, as far as the players, do you see a big difference, like when they're in school and you're in a like, I guess when I was in school, I was in a routine. You go to class, there's a routine. Then when you're not in school, you kind of you might sleep late. Your routine breaks a little bit. You might be a little lazier. Do you, as a head coach, see anything that from when they're in school, didn't play a game, when they're off, like they will this Friday and get ready for a game? Is there a big difference that you see in your players?
No, we try to keep the same routine though. We have a breakfast of champions that we do. So bring the kids up, we feed them breakfast, and then we have a guest speaker every week, and they speak on something in their whatever their private sector job is, or politician. It could be really anybody, doctors we've had, and they just kind of tell their story and kind of give the kids a different perspective other than football coaches talking to them. I think that's important to for them to see other jobs and what people do and how they've been successful, and what led them to being successful. They usually tell us kind of their success story, or something of that nature. So I think it's good. And yeah, so they get up early. We'll get them up in the morning. We'll bring them up for breakfast. We'll still do that. And then Friday, then they'll go. We have a training as all the entire school district teachers have a training till 11:30, and then I'll probably bring them back up here at noon, lunchtime. So I mean, they get a little break, right there where they can kind of sleep and go back and take a nap or do whatever kids do. But we try to keep them in a routine. If we're used to getting them up, we're gonna get them up, just so they are not staying up late, and like you said, all that stuff, or they have that routine still. So that we try to keep it as that's most coaches. You'll see that they're routine guys. They're going to try to keep them, as close as we can to our normal routine on a Friday.
It's nice to know that they have to still come up and eat breakfast together. That's the thing. So they don't sleep in until 10, 11 o'clock, right, and get
Yeah.
lazy. So they still got to come up there, and if they want to take a nap, that's fine. That's awesome. It's awesome to see. And like I said last week on the podcast, the facilities were great. I was able to go in there and do a team, eat a little bit there with coach and stuff. So it was great. And then don't forget this Monday coming up. I don't know that we're going to have. Probably going to cancel out the Warriors Players podcast for this week. Coach Beazell will not be on this Wednesday as well. It's their time off with family. So this upcoming week, the Warriors Players podcast on Monday and the Coach V podcast, we will not have this upcoming week. But then the following, I think we will. Is that correct, Coach? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, so we go on intercession after next week. So next week we're only going to be practicing probably I want to say like 3 times a week during the week, and it'll be in the mornings, and then they'll be gone. They'll be done. So yeah, we have intercession.
So that won't happen. But then the following week, when they come back, we'll resume again with
Yes.
the Players Podcast on Monday, and then Coach V on Wednesday. So definitely just want to make sure. So people say, "What's going on, man? You ain't coming on." It's their break. It's their time with their family. So we definitely don't want to interfere with anything like that, Coach. But again, I want to thank you, Coach, for everything you do for us, helping us out here, bringing your players on and the coaches. I really enjoyed being able to talk to the coaches on Monday, and the players, getting to know them, giving them an opportunity to talk. So I want to thank you for that. And speaking of coaches, we have Coach Beazell also talk about one of his assistant coaches. I mean, the program obviously is going in the right direction here. You hear Coach talk about things they're still working on, but it takes some time. But I do like where we're going, and obviously it also starts with Coach Beazell, but it also he's got to have some great assistants, and we do have some there at Tuloso Midway. And he's been talking last couple of weeks about some of his assistants. Coach, I'd like to talk to us today about your linebackers, Coach. So we go offense, we go defense. So let's go defense today. So talk a little bit about your linebackers, Coach.
Yeah, so Coach Martinez, Roberto Martinez, he does an amazing job with our linebackers. He had 2 really good ones last year, and he's kind of been tasked with creating 2 brand new linebackers for us. And in our defense, our linebackers are kind of like our quarterbacks, especially for the front 7. We've had some rough times this year. We've kind of been rotating kids, we're really trying to find kids that are going to read their keys and do their job. And we have 2 good ones right now that are playing tough, and they play hard, and that's all you ask out of kids. And we're going to correct them and coach them hard, and they can take coaching, both of them. One of them, Jordan's coming back next year. Matt Rodriguez, he's a senior, so he'll be gone. So, but Coach Martinez, he big time details guy. He's kind of my front guy, and he helps me out with drawing up run cards and doing those types of things and on the weekends. Um, he's also our strength and conditioning coordinator, so he runs our weight room. It's a new position we created for him to, be in the weight room almost full time during athletic periods. So he'll be doing that more during the off season, where that's really gonna come out. But he did such a good job in the weight room last year with me when I was kind of running it with him. And then when I took over, I felt like he kind of deserved that title. It's a paid title, and so I told the district that it's important for me to have that, and he's done a great job. So anytime we ask him to do something, he's kind of our go-to guy, always around. You need something done, I can call him if I'm not around. He'll be here at the school. He lives close by, and I just very appreciative of his work ethic, and how much he cares about kids. And he's also a great teacher in the classroom. I think he's in charge of our department, one of the departments in the social studies department. So when you're a great teacher, you're usually a great coach, and he brings that, to our coaching staff, and we're just very lucky to have him.
Well, Coach, all of the coaches that I've been able to talk to, I've been real impressed with. I mean, it starts with you. You've got to have the vision, right? And then they follow. But those assistant coaches, for people that don't really understand, they do so much behind the scenes. That's why we wanted to give the coaches an opportunity to talk about them. Because we can't get them all on. Some can, some can't, right? But
Yeah.
to give coach an opportunity to talk, because so much of what we see is just on game day. We don't see all of the work that they have to do.
Hmm.
Not to mention, coach, I've always wondered, when I see a coach, I'm like, man, they got to work on this, and then they got to work in the classroom. So they got to make sure that their work is in the classroom, that the kids are getting the best from them as a teacher, and then they got to put on that cap, right, and come onto the field. If you're baseball, whatever sport you're teaching, and you got to give the best to your players. So you got to give the best to your players on the
Yeah.
field, on the court, and then the classroom. So how hard is that? How special do you have to be able to do that consistently, right? So I always have a lot of respect, and I've learned a lot through this podcast of what coaches go through, and I've always respected coaches. But doing this podcast, I've found a new respect for what they do, because they do so much behind the scenes that never gets talked about or noticed. Only the people that are there watching them. So I'm glad we have the opportunity to talk a little bit about them and let them know everything that they do for the program. So, Coach, well, good luck on Friday. Valley View, safe travels up there and back for the coaches, the fans, and the Warriors. But I do want to give you the final thought. Anything else you want to add, Coach, before we let you go?
I just want to say thank you to our community for continue to support us and what we're trying to do here, at TM. And the whole, cliche, it's a process, and it's going to be, we're really working hard. We have a good group of coaches here that are working to turn this place around and turn it into a football powerhouse. That's our goal, and ultimately to create great young men, good husbands, and good fathers. That's kind of our goal, and teaching these guys life lessons. So I just appreciate the community continue to support us. They're awesome. Friday, I think it was great seeing them there, and how much they supported their Warriors, and the kids really do appreciate that. They feed off of our community, and they are it drives them. A lot of their drive comes from that community. So we appreciate it.
Coach, and the other thing would be that the players come on and you hear it in their voice, right? And you see it how they're excited about playing TM Warrior football, and it's a process. I know we say that, but it really is a process, and you're never going to give yourself a pat on the back. Coaches never do that, but we'll do that for you. We're lucky to have you there. I think you're doing a great job wearing all those caps, but you do a great job. You're the leader there. And I think we're on the right track here to continue to get better the rest of this year and moving forward into the next couple of years. So I'm really excited about being able to do this and have you on the podcast, talk TM Warriors football. We'll continue to do that again, Warrior fans, Cherokee fans. Next week, just a reminder, we will not be on next week on Monday and Wednesday, but the following week, because there's a break, we will resume with the Coach V podcast on Wednesday at 3 and Monday at 4:30 for the TM Warriors Players Podcast. Coach, thank you very much. Again, good luck, safe travels, and hopefully when we talk we'll be talking about some W's, right? As we get closer into the playoffs. Thank you, Coach,
Thank you.
and have a great one.